As the region worries about a potential next phase of this war, in Gaza, the unchanging current reality continues to kill and maim 300 days in. These the minutes after an Israeli airstrike on a school in Gaza City. It was crowded with displaced people. Survivors said there was no warning. It was hit by 3 missiles.
That Israeli airstrike on a school in Gaza City has killed at least 30 people and wounded dozens more, according to the Palestinian Emergency Response Agency. Most of the victims were women and children, said Mahmoud Basal, a spokesman for the Palestinian Civil Defense. He said that an F-16 fighter jet hit a school called Hassan Salame, where at least 14 people were still buried under the rubble. Shrapnel and debris also hit a neighboring school known as Nasser, he said. The IDF used the same excuse it always does. The Israeli military said it targeted terrorists in Hamas command and control centers located at the Hassan Salame and Nasser schools. It said it had taken numerous steps to mitigate the risk of harming civilians before the strike, including using precision munitions, surveillance, and intelligence, though it did not specify how it had done so. And even if we generously assume that they did take steps to avoid civilians, they failed. Basal, the Palestinian Civil Defense spokesman, said, "Right in front of me, there was a 5-year-old child dying. How is this related to October 7th? If you want to kill someone, kill him away from other people." It was the 3rd attack on a school in the last 4 days, all of which had housed Gazans who were forced to leave their homes during the war. A recent assessment by the United Nations found that nearly 85% of Gaza's schools have been destroyed or damaged during the war, with more than half of the school buildings used as shelters hit directly. Sadly, of course, Israel also saw violence over the weekend. An alleged Palestinian militant carried out a stabbing attack in Tel Aviv, killing a woman in her 70s and an 80-year-old man. Now, Cenk, we try to be fair. We don't want to see violence on any side, but it does seem significantly disproportionate. I mean, this strike is yet another instance of an absolutely heartbreaking and avoidable and preventable tragedy, and I expect absolutely nothing to change as a result. What about you?
Yeah. So, look, we've been saying it from day one. We don't want civilians killed on either side. It's always a tragedy. So what do you kill those poor older couple for, 75 and 80 years old? What do you get out of it? It's so dumb. So totally counterproductive to everything we need to do to free Palestine. Having said that, let's talk about scale, which America never does. In fact, they covered up the crimes of Israel by making it seem like, well, 1,200 people got killed, so obviously they had to kill 40,000 on the other side. No, that's not obvious at all. That's not obvious at all. My heart breaks for those 1,200. Does your heart break for the 39,580 people killed? For most of you in the audience, you're of course answering, of course it does. And is 39,580 larger than 1,200? Doesn't take a math genius to figure it out, okay? So is Israel the most incompetent military in the world? Well, God, gee, they're just trying so hard to avoid civilian casualties, but well, what are you gonna do? They had tens of thousands, at a bare minimum, 25,000 civilians killed already. Because IDF says, I don't know, I think we killed 14,000 Hamas guys. Where's the proof? Any proof? No, I don't have any proof. Well, you were saying 9,000 like a minute ago. And then you were saying, no, actually you were saying 15,000, then 9,000, now you're at 14,000. Which one is it? All within the span of a short period of time. Oh, so you're just making numbers up. But even if you take up their totally made up number of 14,000, well, there's over 39,000 dead, 25,000 civilians. Do they matter? Do their lives matter at all? And let's be honest, for the American government, our sick, corrupt politicians said no. They gave standing ovations to Benjamin Netanyahu, saying, I don't care about those 25,000 dead women and children at all. Did the check from AIPAC clear? It cleared? Good. Kill as many Palestinian women and children as you want. That is what our United States Congress and yes, our president is saying super loud and clear. Muslim lives don't matter at all. You can kill as many Muslims as you like. And by the way, we'll say that you were defending yourself. They're in occupied territories, brother. They have almost no power. You saw Israel bomb every building in Gaza. You saw Israel bomb these 3 schools, let alone the hundreds of schools they bombed before. They blew up all the universities for no reason. They just came in, they did improvised devices, they imploded the universities. Why? Because they don't want them to get an education. They want to humiliate and beat and oppress the Palestinians as much as humanly possible. But they're the good guys. Our media and politicians pretend they're the good guys. Do good guys bomb schools filled with women and children? And if you say, well, there was a terrorist there, so of course we had to kill 20, even if that were true, and they haven't proved it, the IDF is pathological liars. They make Donald Trump look honest. Almost every statement IDF puts out is lie. Okay, we've double checked, like nonstop lies, right? But even if you granted them that there was a terrorist in the building, how about the 29 other people, mostly kids? It's a refugee shelter now, but women, children, etc. that's being reported. How about them? Who cares? They're Palestinians. Who cares? Just kill them all. Are you kidding me? If I had the world's worst, I mean, name it, any terrorist, I don't care if it's a Muslim terrorist, Israeli terrorist, etc. And they're holed up in a building with 30 people inside, 29 of whom are innocent. Would I bomb that building to kill the worst terrorists in the world? Of course not, because I don't want to murder 29 innocent people. But you would do that, and you would brag about it, and you would say it's no big deal, and you're just defending yourself, if you thought those other 29 lives don't matter at all. After all, they're Muslims. Do their lives even count? And Israel is the moral army? No one who isn't monumentally biased would ever think that. You'd have to be a borderline lunatic to think that. So, and will this matter? Of course not. America doesn't care about Palestinians or Muslims or Arabs at all. At all. Our politicians are monsters. As long as any donor is giving them money, I mean, they'll run roughshod over our own citizens, let alone Muslims in a different place. They say murder away, kill any of them that you like, and we'll give you infinite money. We just gave them $26 billion. They use it to bomb schools. Do you think it's going to change? No, they'll bomb more schools and more hospitals and more ambulances. And every time they'll say, oh, it was an accident. Did we just murder 15,000 of your kids? It doesn't really matter. Are they really kids? They're just Muslims after all. Well, if you're not sick of that and you don't think that's unbelievably bigoted and racist, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you if your heart doesn't break for those Palestinians.
The October 17th attack on Al-Ali Hospital. I remember you and I had a conversation on the show about it a couple days later, and we saw people who are deferential to Israel argue, well, Israel doesn't bomb hospitals. That's how we know they didn't do it. That was October 17th. Where are we now? Where are they now? Where are the people who in that moment made the argument that Israel would never do this? Almost every hospital has been at least partially damaged. Schools, 85% of the schools are partially damaged or destroyed. You talk about the death toll, that is a conservative estimate at this point. With the amount of people that are known to be trapped under rubble, it is probably magnitudes higher. And nobody who went out of the gate in the first couple weeks of this war and argued, oh, Israel doesn't do that. That's just not how they behave. They're a moral army. Where are they now? What are they saying now? What is the excuse? It's always cast doubt on the death toll. It's split hairs over the use of the word genocide. Dispute that it's an occupation, because they can't argue on the substance. They have to pull IDF and Israeli talking points to distract and deflect from the core issue, which is that violence and waging a war against a captive population is leading to untold civilian death. And then you have Benjamin Netanyahu give us the finger in Congress and say, there's no place for political violence in democracies. Okay, sure, whatever you say, because I turn on TV, I open social media, I look at the news, and I see carcass after carcass of these people, innocent people who had nothing to do with October 7th, killed by Netanyahu and his military.
Israel is obviously one of the most belligerent and oppressive nations on earth. And we fund them to do that. We enable it. They use our money to slaughter innocent people over and over and over again. And we don't do anything about it. It's heartbreaking. And if you're an American citizen, you should be outraged by the immorality of our politicians.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.